Hello, everybody. Today we're going to talk about the Mcclelland theory. Well, Maslow's theory, which we've been discussing in class over the last few days, focuses on the universal human need. David McClelland proposed that individuals are primarily driven by three specific needs, and those needs are the need for achievement, the need for affiliation, and the need for power. And we are going to take some time getting to know those a little bit deeper. But first, we're going to look at his theory through the lens of just your personal self, okay? How you are motivated personally in these three categories. So, the first one we want to look at is achievement. So, according to McClelland, individuals with a high need for achievement take personal responsibility for their work, they set personal goals, and they seek immediate feedback. So, is that you? Do you think you fall into that category? The next one is affiliation. So, affiliation is those with a strong need will prioritize building relationships and fitting in with a group. So, do you find that you are more motivated when you are talking with people, getting to know them, and feeling like you're a part of the group? Well, then you may fall under the affiliation. The next one is power. So, individuals with a strong need for power, they really desire to have influence and control over other people. And they really do thrive in roles where they can take charge of the situation, take charge of the group, and lead. So, does that sound a little bit like you? Let's look at this from the lens of being a manager and working with employees. So, we just talked a little bit about what it looks like individually. And as a manager, you may notice some of those traits in your employees, but how best should you work with them is what we're going to look at. So, managers who subscribe to McClelland's theory recognize that different jobs offer varying degrees of opportunities for achievement, affiliation, and power. And let's take a look at what that can offer. So, with achievement, managers working with individuals with a high need for achievement should empower them to make decisions and have control over their work. So, if you have an employee who just is not motivated, is not doing well, maybe they're just not doing their work, right? Zoned out. Well, if you know that they have this trait to where achievement really motivates them, you allow them to make decisions and you allow them to have control over their work. So you do not want to be looking over their shoulder. You don't want to be micromanaging them because that will demotivate them and they will not want to work. Looking at affiliation, for employees with a strong need for affiliation, this is what McClelland suggests that you would do as a manager, assigning them to a group project. All right. Maybe they just don't work well individually, but they are outstanding when they work in a team. Well, you're going to want to encourage or maybe present projects to them that allows them to be a part of a group. And you also want to foster socializing opportunities. So maybe that person takes a little bit longer to get back to their cubicle after lunch. Well, instead of being like, hey, shoot, you need to get back to work, allow them a little bit of an opportunity to socialize and kind of get that out of their system, and then they're going to be more productive for you in the long run. The last one with power is individuals with a high need for power, especially as an employee, excel when given leadership roles. So you need somebody in your team to be in charge, and you notice that they are not good followers, they get bored or they get upset because their voice isn't being heard, give them the leadership role, right? They're going to excel in that role. Involvement in planning and decision-making process, they want to be a part of it. They really do want to lead, right? That's where they get their fulfillment and their enjoyment on the job, is when they're able to give their 2 cents and their voice is heard and they're allowed to make decisions. So that's what you can do for somebody who maybe isn't motivated, but really uses that power to get motivated. But McClellan wants us to know that, you know what, this does take some time. So you're not just going to walk in and say, hey, let's do this, right? You're going to have to get to know your employees a bit to kind of know which of the three areas do they fall in terms of being motivated. So McClellan's theory suggests that these needs can be developed and strengthened over time through intentional development efforts. So that means that you're going to foster that. And just because you give somebody with a high need of power, a leadership role, doesn't mean that they're automatically going to get motivated, right? It may take some time for them to feel appreciated from their manager, that they want to do a good job. So, lastly, all of our theorists that we're going to be talking about each have a graphic that represents their theory as a way for us to remember what they are. So, this is the graphic that represents the Mcclelland theory, and I want to encourage you to recreate this on your own because we will be using it in the future for a group project. So, take a few minutes and draw this. And thank you for listening. And I hope you learned a little bit more about McClelland's theory.